All right, here we go. Wednesdays, long balls here in Morning Kick Around. Long ball number one here on Morning Kick Around. It is Wednesday, June 18th. Who are the favorites for the Gold Cup now? Both United States men's national team and then last night, Canada with emphatic opening game wins. What do you think? Canada the favorites now?
You know, I would certainly say 6-0 over Honduras looks more impressive than 5-0 over Trinidad and Tobago. But aren't we kind of splitting hairs here at this point, Rob? I mean, Trinidad and Tobago, pretty bad. Keep that in context. Great for the United States to build some confidence, score some goals. And I do think that, recent results matter. And you'd certainly judge the United States more harshly based on their recent results than you would Canada. And Canada has more of their first choice players than the United States. Tejan Buchanan fought Mob's man of the match last night against Honduras because he was so devastating, and we know he is a first choice player for Canada. Jonathan David scoring goals for Canada. That's a first choice player. Canada has, if you're saying like relative strength of their squads, Canada has the advantage in this situation. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, you're not too far off the boat. And you kind of scorned me for saying should Pulisic tag along, but Alphonso Davies right there on the sideline cheering his team along. And you got to say that looked positive from my perspective. You said like a coach doesn't want a star player just lingering around. And granted, it's a little bit different injury or selection, but
yes, come on.
He looked positive.
That's different. And look, I do think it's an easy thing to pick at if you're a national team, U.S. men's national team fan. Like, we can't get that sort of enthusiasm and support and camaraderie and community and culture with our team. Our guys don't show up. I mean, the difference, of course, is that Alphonso Davies has an injury that is limiting him from doing. He couldn't play if he wanted to, whereas Christian Pulisic could play if he wanted to, but he's like, I'm not 100%, bro. I need to take some time off, which is a very different kind of environment. Now, in terms of, again, what this result means versus what the U.S. result means, and maybe now who's the favorite. Mexico is still around. They're still lurking. Yes, they struggled a bit against the Dominican Republic, but they also have a lot of their first choice guys, and I think they're going to improve in the tournament. I still think that it goes Mexico, Canada, the United States. Those are the three teams in that order for me in terms of favorite to win this tournament, mainly because Canada hasn't done it in a long time, and as talented as they are in certain parts of the field, they have some deficiencies. By the way, Honduras really bad last night. Like really bad. Like don't think that's the old Honduras. That's not the old Honduras, right? And that's why it's hard to judge any of these teams off their first performance. Dominican Republic, better than they've ever been before. Trinidad and Tobago, really bad. Honduras, maybe as bad as they've been in a long time. So it makes it really tough. But I would still say Mexico's the favorite. I would have Canada because of the strength of their squad at number 2. And then I would have the United States coming in third, and any one of them can win it, Rob.
Yeah, I'd say it's wild. Canada seems to be having these more and more players step up and look like first teamers. They're kind of getting that scary stage where there's not just like 1-11 and then a drop off. There seems to be more and more players that look like impact players coming up and stepping up. And there were some players that I was not familiar with that looked really good in this game last night.
Obviously, here you have people in our chat. Nate, who is a member, be like Nate, be an MK Ultra. He's saying, can't put us in front of Panama, can you, even without Coco? I think you can, but again, if you don't want to, if you think Panama deserves more respect, be my guest. Be my guest. Again, part of this is the United States doesn't have its first choice squad by any stretch of the imagination, and they've been poor, and they were bad in the friendlies and all those things. Maybe I'm going on hope more than anything else. I know there is obviously a recent bit of evidence that says Panama can beat the United States even when the U.S. has a much stronger squad than the team they have now. I think Pochettino botched the tactics so much in that match in the Nations League that I don't know how much to judge, how to judge that performance. And again, I think this is obviously a very down moment for the U.S. men's national team, and lots of people are saying there's no way you can put us in front of Panama. Fine. We'll see how this plays out, obviously, right? There's a lot of soccer left to be played. We played one group stage match at this tournament. So there's really not a lot of evidence right now, either in any way to judge this. I mean, Panama beat Guadeloupe. What am I supposed to say about that? Like, and again, as Nate pointed out, Coco Carrasquilla is not there. I mean, this to me, this is not why I would put Panama ahead of the United States in terms of winning the tournament. If you want to say Panama can beat the United States because they've beaten us or knocked us out of tournaments 3 times in a row, all right. I just don't. This isn't about the U.S. versus Panama. This is about winning the entire tournament. So again, we'll see. Right? Again, maybe it's blind faith on my part, but I don't think that this Panama team is unbeatable for the United States.
Yeah, we're somewhat prisoners of the moment here after like one game played. How many Gold Cup group stage matches really like linger in the memory for too long? But both of the North American or all the North American teams getting their Gold Cup campaigns off on the winning foot. Canada have Curacao at the weekend, and then on Thursday night, United States men's national team take on Saudi. Just a 30-second preview. Do you think that the United States, I mean, are they going to be a super challenge? Is this, I mean, obviously a step up from Trinidad and Tobago,
absolutely,
but a true challenge?
Well, again, if you go back, they win the game against Haiti. Haiti can't put the ball in the net. It's a penalty that beats them versus Saudi Arabia. We saw Saudi Arabia make a mark in the World Cup 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, but they haven't been that good. They haven't been great in Asian qualifying. So I think this is obviously a game the United States should win. I'm not saying it's 5-0, but they should win this game. And maybe this will be a better test of where they are. And if we get the same kind of performances out of Diego Luna, out of Luca de la Torre, out of Tim Ream and Chris Richards, if they start again, and I think they probably will, then we'll have more confidence going in to the final group stage match, which may not matter too much. And then obviously the knockout phase is when things get real. And that's, we talked a little bit about how that plays out, quarterfinals, semifinals, final. The United States, if they win their group, probably line up not an easy match in the quarterfinal, but a match they could probably win or should win, and then a semifinal potentially against Canada, which may be where they trip up.
I hope that we see a very similar lineup to the one against Trinidad. I want to see some like team cohesion and get some solidity before the experimentation begins. And hopefully that Luna Tillman combination continues to grow. It seems fair that Diego Luna has shown improvement and consistency over this run. Like obviously there was the losing streak. He was the shining light and then was one of the pivotal figures in the game against Trinidad. Excited to see where that goes and if it continues to grow match on match as it has been in this last little run of games for the national team. Again, Thursday versus Saudi.